On Monday, the U.S. is set to sit down with Russia and maybe China with the goal of limiting all three countries' nuclear weapons stockpiles. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo flew to Honolulu yesterday to meet with China's top diplomat. He's hoping to convince them to join negotiations. Earlier, CBS News foreign affairs analyst Pamela Falk spoke to the United States' top arms control negotiator, Ambassador Robert Wood, about the growing concerns over Russia and China's nuclear arsenals.
It's expected that at a minimum, China's overall nuclear stockpile is going to increase over the next double over the next 10 years. That, of course, is a great concern to not just the United States, but a lot of other countries. And as I said earlier, they are, in essence, growing their ballistic missile submarine fleet. They are developing road mobile ICBMs. They are engaged in developing hypersonic weapons. And as I said, China has been free from any kind of constraints on them with regard to arms control, because the treaties that the US and Russia have agreed on in the past have not included China. So we think it is long overdue for China to return, for China to come to the table. That's an imperative, and that is a priority for this administration, and we're going to continue to push until China does take the responsible position and come to the table so that we can have negotiations on these weapons of concern. It is understood that China's lack of transparency, its unwillingness to sit at the table with the United States and have bilateral discussions on arms control and risk reduction, the fact that they've refused to come to the table to sit down to talk about broader issues of strategic security and not just strategic nuclear weapons. This is something that we are extremely concerned about, and our forecasts, again, in essence, are about basically see a doubling of that stockpile over the next 10 years. And that is a fundamental concern to the United States and its allies and partners.
All right, so it sounds like what you're saying is that there is, that your worry is a nuclear arms race.
Well,
with China and Russia.
To put it simply, Russia and China are arms racing. They are in the midst of an arms race. And as I said to you earlier, for the last 10 years, we have been downplaying the role of nuclear weapons in our overall national security strategy, whereas these two countries have gone in the opposite direction. And so that is why the president tasked his arms control officials with trying to get China to sit down at the table with Russia so that we can deal with these challenges that we have to our security. We're not going to allow Russia and China to continue to move forward on their modernizations and increasing their stockpiles of nuclear weapons. And this is something that the president has said cannot continue. And so right now, we are modernizing our stockpile, but we are not increasing the number in any substantial way. And we are having to deal with and respond to these growing challenges from Russia and China. And we cannot turn a blind eye to this fact, this reality. And so we have to deal with the world as it is and not as we would like it to be. And so with Russia and China moving in this different trajectory than we have been moving, we have to do what's in our national interests, and not only in our interest, but in the interest of our allies and partners.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Wood, for your expertise, for your knowledge of all things arms control. We hope to talk to you again after the talks in Vienna. And so I thank you so much for your time. I'm Pamela Falk for CBS News in New York.